Hello, my name is Martina Panyana of FFAMA5, and this is my presentation of my final project. So, given from the title page itself, I chose option A, and judging from the themes, I think it's obvious what concept or big idea I wanted to go for. First and foremost, I wanted it to include Jinx from the show Arcane. Not only have I been waiting for a project that would allow me to draw one of my favorite characters, but I knew she could be versatile when it came to this project. The specific rubrics needed for option A. So, in the show, her themes are very prominent of these colors, more specifically the purples, blues, and pinks. And I really like the locations where she'd usually reside in the show itself. So as for the other two, I wanted to, of course, incorporate perspective into her pose. So something similar to this, but not exactly. And I wanted to do, instead of a 2-point perspective, I went with 1 point, with this being one of my main references and something I wanted to incorporate into the final work as well. So now on to the mood board. This was my Pinterest board, which contained most, if not all, of my references. So I wanted to go for, of course, the bright neon with a little bit of a dark atmosphere going on. And that's basically the gist of it. I wanted it to be bright while still having a dingy atmosphere. So similar to these main ones specifically. Moving on to the sketches or drafts, as you can see from my first attempt, I couldn't exactly envision correctly what I was trying to go for. You can even see my little text stating OMG where I was crashing out. But onto the second, I believe I locked in and got the basic idea of what pose I wanted her to be in, along with the perspective that I wanted to go for. And lastly, onto the third draft or sketch, I cleaned up the lines or the line art and laid out all the flat colors and atmosphere I was going for. And here's the final product. So I wanted Jinx to be in some sort of dingy, secluded room, and I wanted it to be filled with graffiti and doodles since it's a big part of her character. And as you can see, there's also some spray paint cans scattered everywhere. Not really everywhere, but yeah. And there's even splotches of paint in the walls and floors. While my intent wasn't like an isolation room, I did want the environment to feel tight and small and like with no way to look out into the outside world, just to really push in the her character. So yes, it's dark with only 2 light sources emitting from the ceiling, and along with the neon spray paint, where it sort of highlights and brightens up the area, as you can see, including her eyes as well. And lastly, here is the speed paint. So you can see, for the background, I was going for a different approach at first, but I ultimately decided that I wanted the room to just look empty with scattered graffiti over the walls. And yippee! So I just really wanted that messy look. Like it looks almost dirty from the like paints and the way I rendered the walls, and that was what I was trying to go for. So just going back, hmm, I'd wanted her perspective to be to like lengthen out over here, and for this to be, of course, more small and secluded. And the rest are just her graffiti everywhere. Another thing to mention, I did not exactly use a reference. I actually I tried implementing the lessons that I learned from the subject itself. I did use some references here and there, but not like one that had this exact pose, so to speak. And that will be all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.